is just fantastic. Captain's log, subdates 211028.9. The hull is starting to look incredibly clean. Apparently though, crewman Bork requires oxygen, so we've given him a little, but as a punishment we've got him removing barnacles from the nacelles without gloves. Welcome everyone to the exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start with a comment. Yes, I know this isn't exactly a regular thing, but it intrigued me enough. It also intrigued the person that sent it to me, which would be Irate Alex. If anyone has been following his more recent content, he has switched formats entirely to long-form documentary videos. It has yielded great results for him, because he's not having to make a video every single day or every single week. One a month seems to do him quite well. If you saw his video covering Darby Vanity, it's quite good. It hit over 100,000 views. YouTube pulled it. Even though he appealed a number of things earlier and it got approved for monetization, they removed all of that and removed the video. Now behind the scenes, Alex dealt with it. Yay! But all the comments that he had initially received were gone. So I put a comment underneath. Hey, I'm glad you got your video back up, especially as this banger hit 100,000 views. Well earned, much like you hitting 20,000 subscribers. For some odd reason, somebody decided to let their feelings known about me in a reply to that comment complimenting Alex. Oh Megon, I hate your channel so much, dude. So much so that I don't know how much of a chance I want to give to creators you support. Which is, let's be honest, a strange comment, as you will undoubtedly know, my lovely, lovely audience, hi, that I've supported Alex for years. In fact, whenever I do a stream on this channel, I get Alex on, because he's the best person for me to bounce off. Seriously, I may have to come back to this at another point. You pointlessly shit talk with no nuance, other than the inserts you use to stroke your own ego. It's like watching a DeFranco video with a slow-talking British narrator. Just disappointing. I was subscribed for about a year and damn it wasn't worth it. Now there are a number of things I want to point out here. The more notable of which is, you left this comment on an Alex video where I commented there, meaning I would have gotten no notification for it. Did you think I was going to go back and read the replies? I was there to praise my friend and his hard work. As far as the criticisms of my character, my inability to nuance, sure, let's take that on board and learn from it. Unless of course they're a subject I cover where nuance is irrelevant. But that is subjective, of course. And you are quite right. I pretty much just do this to stoke my own ego. Like that's a bad thing. Now Alex, after sending this to me, did in fact reply, pointing out essentially, the person who left the comment is a salty Karen and the only reason they did it there is because they wouldn't have the balls to do it on my channel, because anyone that left a comment on my video will have noticed that comment and absolutely dogpiled you, which I do not condone. Criticism is fine. Dogpiling? Nah. It amused me nonetheless, and I certainly wanted to highlight it in this video because you did it somewhere else rather than doing it here on my channel. I get plenty of comments criticizing my format, structure, the way I speak, how slow I am, the lack of nuance, and you know what? They're all valid points. Any form of improvement that I choose to introduce into my channel will be a slow improvement because if I did it, people might get a bit annoyed that the format changed too quickly. So next we're going to go to a trending subject, and for this we go to Bristol. This one's a strange one, but don't worry, it shall amuse you. A lorry driving around the harbour in Bristol decided that it wanted to change profession mid-delivery to become a submarine. Turns out, the lorry was reversing and the driver sucks at his job, and thus begun a rescue mission to save the Truckee Gazelle road cow. This noble rescue mission was captured on film. Now I have a suggestion for the company that guy works for, unless he's self-employed, in which case this is directly for you. Fire yourself and then get yourself arrested for truck abuse. So next we're going to talk about Lisa Keough, a Scottish law student who attended Abertay University. We have in fact discussed her before on this channel within this series, because she managed to get herself into a spot of hot water after saying something that others considered to be hateful. So she was investigated back then for saying that women have vaginas during an online seminar on transgender issues. She was investigated by Abertay University, which is in Dundee, after classmates complained that she had made inappropriate comments during the seminar, which could in turn be construed as discriminatory. The probe into this lasted 2 months. The probe itself took place while she herself was going through her final year exams, with the university's disciplinary board deciding to uphold the misconduct charge against her, finding that there was no evidence that she had discriminated against anyone, which I think we can all agree here is fantastic news for Lisa. But Lisa understandably is not best impressed at how she was treated and the fact that this happened at the most inopportune of moments. And as Lisa is a law student, she knows exactly which law she can now use to absolutely hammer Abertay University. And that law would be the 2010 Equalities Act. So in a statement that she released via Twitter, she said, "I can confirm that my solicitors MML Legal Dundee have raised an action by me against Abertay University Dundee. As this matter is now in court, I cannot discuss the merits of the case. However, I can confirm that I am seeking compensation from them for undertaking a disciplinary process against me for expressing certain gender-critical beliefs, which my legal team believe was a breach of the Equalities Act and an infringement of my ECHR rights of freedom expression." ECHR stands for the European Convention on Human Rights, and for the sake of it, know that he's not tied into the EU. She continued on by tweeting, "Action was initiated last week. I will be raising funds for this. I would appreciate your support during this time. I hope that you will donate if you can and share widely. I will post the fundraising page when it has been finalised. Thank you." The fundraising page currently sits at £7,238 of a £25,000 target. I will link it down below. My view on this is quite simple. The probe should never have happened in the first place. The fact it did shows how delicate people are, and what a waste of resources this entire thing has become. So an example needs to be made, and quite frankly, when I was up in Scotland for my sister's wedding, when other people there that are themselves Scottish said that they don't care for the nanny state, this is a consequence of it, and it needs to be punished accordingly. So I fully support Lisa in her endeavours to punish Abertay University. They, after all, taught her everything she knows about law, and now she's using it against them. The student becomes master. I approve. So to our final subject, we go to the Great British Bake Off. Many of you will have undoubtedly heard of it. It is incredibly popular. I don't care for it. I don't watch TV. But one of the presenters I'm aware of is called Prue Leith, I think. Lee? Leith. I can't be asked to go look up the pronunciation. Alright, I'm lazy. Everyone knows this. I remember her from the Great British Menu, which was on BBC. I used to watch that when I was a bum, so a dosser, unemployed. On the show, she said something recently that sparked a little controversy, and I find it fascinating because it's very much a case of someone's taken a quote and just gone, but in this context, it can be offensive, which is the entire bleeding point. So a number of charities have reached out and hit out over a triggering remark that was repeated when it comes to calories and or fat content within food. So while tasting a biscuit during a German week, Prue said it was worth every calorie. Eating disorder charity Beat said that this language was triggering and that Channel 4, who host the Great British Bake Off, need to be more careful. With the charity's Director of External Affairs Tom Quinn saying, "Mentions of calories can be triggering to people with or vulnerable to an eating disorder. We know from the people we support that equating food with good or bad moral connotations can lead to feelings of guilt and shame and can even encourage eating disorder behaviours. So talk of food being worth the calories is very unhelpful. While I can fully understand and respect their perspective, I have a counter to it, and it is for those who actually watch what they eat, because they're trying to be more health conscious, not in the extreme of being super skinny or super fat. The people right in the middle who pay attention to what they take in their body. I myself do this. If these cookies are worth every calorie, I kinda want one. So then when you continue with a statement saying that Channel 4 needs to be more conscious about the way food and exercise is discussed, all you're doing is invigorating charities when it comes to people who are themselves anorexic, bulimic, but also those who are morbidly obese and championed on a regular basis for being body positive, without giving any consideration for those who are conscious of this but don't suffer with those conditions. You've made a mountain out of a molehill and made a problem all about yourself. How incredibly narcissistic. Stop policing language and stop being so delicate. Dealing with issues, yes, of course. But if we start going down this path of being so careful, we will barely say anything at all and presenters on TV will not be required. Now, as we're done, I'd like to know what you all think, so please do let me know in the comments down below. I shall be streaming on Twitch tonight. If I don't see you there, have a fantastic day, and thank you all very much for listening.